Welcome, everybody, to Operation Sting, the practical use of honeypots for threat analysis and mitigation. My name is Max Henderson.
And I'm Miranda Dudley.
So, what we're going to be covering today is we'll start off with our executive summary, give you background information and the role and purpose of honeypots, the threat intelligence and attacker information, insider threats, critical infrastructure protection, risks and disadvantages, legal and ethical implication, and we'll finalize with a question for you guys. So the application of honeypots is in order to mitigate external attacks, insider threats, and abide by legal and ethical implications. So what exactly is a honeypot? It is an imitation system in a network designed to slow or stop an ongoing attack, collect attacker information, and help draw attention from crucial infrastructure. Honeypots can take various forms such as databases, files, servers, etc. However, most honeypot systems are a vast combination of these forms to make the most effective system. So the role and purpose that honeypots play is a potential role is a simulated database with false banking information. This database would divert attention from the critical infrastructure and give responders more time to mitigate. Another role that a honeypot may play is a padded cell system posing as an SSH server. What this system would do is allow the responders to gain attacker information and insights, as well as get the attacker into an environment where no real system damage can occur. So this specific example of an SSH server would be a very effective honeypot just because an SSH server entails that there is a connection to another external database or more information, and most attackers would like to gain as much information as possible.
Honeypots provide valuable threat intelligence and offer insights into attacker behavior, motivations, and techniques. By analyzing recorded characteristics like IP addresses, usernames, passwords, commands, and file types, we can gain a detailed understanding of attack patterns. Machine learning techniques enable the classification of attacks, which aids in the development of effective defense strategies. By correlating data across multiple honeypots, we can identify trends and uncover valuable insights into attacker tactics. Research honeypots are particularly adept at studying automated attacks and providing us with valuable insights into bot behavior. Compromised files collected from honeypots act as a rich source of threat intelligence and help us identify malicious file names. We can also flag IP addresses or URLs found in download comments, which can reveal command and control devices or platforms distributing malicious software. By capturing the attack credentials, we can blacklist compromised usernames and passwords. Honeypots also enable us to examine attack replication steps, identify exploited vulnerabilities, and assess the extent of damage. The controlled environment of honeypots simplifies offline forensic analysis and reduces false positives. Honeypot intelligence also provides us with insights into new malicious content, adversary tactics, and global attack trends. Armed with this information, we can better mitigate risks, respond swiftly to evolving threats, and protect our critical assets. And moving on to our critical infrastructure. Critical infrastructure industries, including electric, gas, and water, have become modernized by integrating information and communication technologies into their systems. This has created smart grids capable of monitoring their state, improving reliability, and delivering advanced services to customers. However, this integration has also exposed these systems to a wide range of security threats as hackers seek to exploit vulnerabilities and disrupt national infrastructure systems. Industrial control systems are another attackable target in our infrastructure. Attacks driven by financial, political, and even terrorist motives highlights the critical need for security measures. Unfortunately, ICSs were originally designed without considering internet connectivity, resulting in a lack of fundamental security controls. The complex process of patch implementation, which affects the uptime and reliability of critical infrastructure, renders traditional security measures like firewalls and antivirus software unsustainable due to the frequent patches required. Although honeypots cannot serve as a direct defense against attacks on critical infrastructure, they play a pivotal role in detecting intrusions, security events, and malware. The NIST special publication on developing cyber-resilient systems recommends deploying honeypots and honeynets to create a comprehensive deception environment. By deploying honeynets, operators gain the ability to closely monitor attackers, gather valuable intelligence, and enhance system protection. The data collected from honeynets assists with incident response training, digital forensics, and supporting law enforcement investigations. Now back to Max.
Thank you, Miranda. So honeypots and insider threats. So honeypots with specifics to insider threats allows for a drastic reduction of false positives, as Miranda touched on a bit, and an increased detection accuracy. So These insider threat-based systems utilize Active Directory to log user activity, enabling an easier and more effective monitoring of behavior. Um, what these systems do is track historical typical user behavior via Active Directory and alerts when that behavior is outside the usual specifications for that user's activity. Outside the physical implications, there is a deterrent factor for insider associates who know about this user activity tracking. As Miranda said, insider threat focused honeypots specifically act more as an intrusion detection system. So, as with any system, there are risks and disadvantages associated with honeypots. One potential risk is that an attacker may discover that they're being honeypotted and begin to launch a larger scale, more aggressive attack. Um, Another risk is that enticing an attacker into certain behavior is quite unclear with its legal bounds. Weak security in a honeypot system may allow for the breach of an internal system using that weak honeypot system. An attacker spoofing of a honeypot system may distract from actual user activity on the internal system. So potential disadvantages is that experienced attackers can detect honeypot systems, rendering them ineffective. And attacker information can be gathered. Attacker information that's gathered may be limited, especially if the attacker is disguising themselves. One main disadvantage is that it adds cost to maintain, improve, and respond, as most companies would outsource their honeypot rather than building it themselves. Again, with outsourcing, there's incident response for any flagging on the system, adding cost and time because you need people as well as money to implement the system. Um, this also puts an increased level of strain on the network. And then with respect to insider threat mitigation, it's far less effective on those who commonly work with the infrastructure. Think IT people who are commonly working with developing and configuring these honeypots. They know about the honeypot system and likely know how to avoid it.
And the use of honeypots introduces legal considerations regarding compromised systems, the collection of PII, and potential entrapment. Neglecting to monitor a honeypot within an organization system could lead to liability if an attacker exploits it to target other systems or devices. The gathering of an attacker's PII through honeypots presents legal challenges due to varying laws across jurisdictions. For instance, capturing metadata like an attacker's IP address is generally permissible. However, combining the IP address with other identifiers, such as the attacker's name, may infringe on privacy regulations like the GDPR. Despite discussions about entrapment, it seldom poses a significant issue with honeypots, as attackers actively seek them out rather than the other way around. Regardless, it is advisable for organizations to seek legal counsel before implementing a honeypot. From an ethical standpoint, honeypots raise questions about enticing individuals to engage in illicit activities. Some argue that luring individuals into virtual crimes is as unethical as enticing them into real-world offenses. Critics also mention the wasp trap syndrome, suggesting that honeypots may attract more attackers than would naturally occur in a typical environment. However, most security researchers refute these claims, emphasizing that the information gathered by honeypots enables a proactive defensive approach that outweighs the ethical concerns. Back to Max again.
Thank you, Brenda. So to recap, given this presentation, what you should have learned is what physically a honeypot system would be, what the purpose of a honeypot is, the threat intelligence and attacker information gathering uses, how a honeypot can mitigate insider threats, potential legal and ethical implications, benefits, as well as risks and disadvantages. So now for our question. So think back to the risks and disadvantages that we provided for you on how implementing honeypots in the infrastructure of a system work. So A, we would like you to provide one example of a potential risk of using honeypots and one more example of potential disadvantage to using honeypots. Part B is we want you to answer the question of, do the benefits of using honeypots in the system to help mitigate internal and external threats outweigh the disadvantages and risks of using them? So with this, we just want you to discuss and connect with the question, explain it in about a paragraph or more if necessary. We just really want you to connect with the question. We feel that this length is perfect for that. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Everybody have a good one.